Hey, this is Cameron Parker. You're listening to the Unbelievers Podcast.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you up inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 degrees. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's
war, and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby. We covered right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
Kentucky, a state with some of the strangest paranormal creatures ever to be reported. Everything from chainsaw-wielding wrestlers to fried chicken Christmas monsters proudly hail from America's bluegrass state. But did you know that there are a ton more cryptid beasts from Kentucky? A bunch of them that we actually already knew about and had no idea they too were from Kentucky? Well, you will tonight, as the Unbelievers Podcast peeks out from behind the Bushman to observe and report the latest and hottest new cryptid documentary from a streaming service known for its suspect quality. So, join us now as we saddle up with a cowboy named H Bub to count and also discount a list of Kentucky's most fearsome fiends and celebrate 6 years of this program, which all led up to Kentucky Cryptids. Right here in the program, we continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm Russ Ryan, and joining me this evening is Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Yo, what's up?
What is going on, Drea? We are finally out of Spooktober. I got to take a break. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone that hung around Halloween night for that fun live stream. And I want to ask you, what was your Spooktober like?
It was spooky for sure. Things were ramping up a little bit everywhere. I kind of forgot that it was closer to Halloween until things were happening around the office and whatnot, like at work, overhearing people's stories, like coworkers mentioning something about like smelling cigarettes in certain areas of the city hall. And I'm like, no kidding. I had to run over and jump in because I was like, I just smelled cigarettes in that restroom, like out of nowhere. And I thought it was in a trash can. I was like, ooh, someone's smoking in here. But that was like a few days before Halloween. And, you know, things ramp up. And then I got to do like a kind of a ghost hunting thing. We know we don't like that term, but yeah.
An official
paranormal investigations.
Yeah, some actual paranormal investigating was going on.
Yeah, and it was like if a ghost tour kind of hybrid with that. So we were leading groups, you know, to guide them through a paranormal investigation, but 3 different shifts, and I got to lead my own groups, and it was really fun. It was very, very interesting.
That is interesting. It's probably way more interesting to what those dudes in the 70s were up to, being all weird. So that was fun. That's great. But I've got something a little fun. We're getting out of the Spooktober a little bit, getting into something more in our old school wheelhouse. Let's get into it tonight. I just realizing this is the 6-year anniversary episode. If this happens to come out on Wednesday, the 13th. That is what would actually be the 6-year anniversary of this show. So here we go. Let's kick off year 6 with Kentucky Cryptids.
In the deep, dark hills of eastern Kentucky lies the place where I trace my bloodline. And it's there I read on a hillside gravestone, you'll never leave Heartland alive.
Oh, that's the stuff, right? That sounds like Kentucky. Yes, perfect for tonight as we discuss.
Sounds like Kentucky.
Oh, it does. That's from a band called Southern Drawl Band, and it's called "You'll Never Leave Harland Alive." Southern Drawl Band, really on the nose band.
You'll
right
never
there.
leave the house of the rising sun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a Kentucky Rising Sun. But it is perfect for tonight as we are going to discuss an all-new documentary on a subject that we care deeply about, cryptids. I'm excited to do one of these cryptid roundup episodes. The last time was those Aussie cryptids. Remember those guys?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but if you thought Australia was wild and just beaming with cryptid activity. Wait until you get a load of Kentucky, a state that is kind of well known for high strangeness of all types. They got aliens, chicken, bluegrass music, but also cryptids. And if you're wondering why we chose this topic, it is because, well, I'm not researching weird hauntings and documentaries from the past. I am always on the lookout for new and strange and relevant paranormal docs to talk about here. And our subject for tonight checks at least 2 of those boxes, because we will be discussing the 2024 documentary Kentucky Cryptids, which is found on the current repository for low-end paranormal trash, Tubi. You've heard about this? You heard about this Tubi? I got mixed feelings about this whole Tubi phenomenon. On one hand, there's a lot of good weird horror movies and some great paranormal stuff. But on the other hand, the bar of entry on this service is subterranean. It's like a Monsters Underground level low, which isn't even fair to Monsters Underground. That show is like Kubrick compared to some of the stuff that is swirling around on this Tubi. And Kentucky Cryptids, it ranks right at the top of the lowest of the low. So let's get into it. This is billed as a comprehensive exploration of the cryptids of Kentucky. And here's the intro where we meet the host of this inexplicable expose.
Hi there, I'm Cowboy H Bub, and you're watching Kentucky Cryptids. Now you might be wondering what a cryptid is. That means, from the Greek, hidden. Now, there's a couple little ugly beasts here I'm going to tell you about in this here great state of Kentucky. I'm talking the Pope-legged monster. I'm talking Kelly Greenman. And I'm talking about my mother-in-law. Had to do a little checking around. She one of them women, you say her name once, she pops right up out of nowhere. Alright, now this first one I'm going to tell you about, it's called a haint. That means haunt. These are little shape-shifting ghosts, man. I don't know what's going to run through their heads. They consumed a little too many GMOs or something like that. I'm just kidding. I don't know much about them, but I'll tell you who does. Old Todd Marberly, my former social studies teacher. Todd, take it away, buddy. And y'all, I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, now I know this is probably an immediate... There's black flags all over that. And my instincts, you just got to kick in and stop right there. This can't be serious because this guy is very cringe. But look, my thirst for cryptid knowledge from Kentucky is too strong. So we got to endure this new character, Drea, Cowboy H Bub. How would you describe him for the listener?
Too much.
Yeah, too much. And he's
yeah, I mean, like clearly trying, going for the cheesiness, but like missing the mark because it's too part of me feels like he's just kind of like this. Oh boy.
Well, yeah, we might find that out. In his appearance, he is wearing like an American flag cowboy shirt pulled up. We'll have to put up some great pics of this new character that we've stumbled across.
It's a character, yeah.
He definitely is. This is Cowboy H Bub, and he's going to present a list of the top 10 Kentucky cryptids. And yeah, you heard there, that's number 10 being haints. And after this intro, you might think this whole thing must be some kind of parody. And if you thought that, I'll stop you right there. Because we're going to learn about haints from his social studies teacher, for real, a man named Todd Morberly. This is a real guy we're going to hear now, listing out things right off the gate. Here he is. It's Morberly time.
Pennsylvania, Middle Atlantic, through the Shenandoah Valley into Virginia, North Carolina, and from those points, they brought the beliefs of haints with them. Witches could be shapeshifters, but in theory, so could haints be shapeshifters. For example, the dog that warns you, the ghost dog, and every culture has the ghost dogs, that warn you of pending doom, that kind of thing. Other animals, but in particular dogs,
this guy was a social studies teacher. You can imagine that class. It's like, stick to the geography, dude. And I didn't edit that down. It starts with that. That is how we are introduced to this guy right off the bat.
Well, I mean, probably you could be a teacher and be good at teaching, but maybe not used to having a camera on you.
Yeah, I know. It sounded like he was having a moment. He was just jumping tracks like crazy. He's like, dogs, there's a bunch of states out there. But did I mention the witches and the Haints? It's like, wait, slow down. What? Maybe it's some editing there. That's the quality education, though, that brought us Cowboy H Bub. This was his teacher. And our host has some questions of his own about these Haints. So let's enjoy now the eloquent interview stylings of Cowboy H Bub.
Speaking of that, I mean, I've read a story about a place called Hainton Holler, and that's in Cumberland County, and there's supposedly some kind of creature that is there, an albino bear monster, but are there stories such as a creature like that being also considered a haint or, a monster?
I've heard the one you talk about in Cumberland County, Haint Holler, but typically not a widespread thing in my experience, which is all I can relate to, all I can, attest to. Haints were sometimes departed family members. Your mother warning you not to go do something.
Whoa. Did he just call my mom a haint? Like, this guy should be stripped of his pension, this teacher. You shouldn't be calling people's moms that. She was a saint.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, you know what he meant? Like, could be if your mom was dead. If your mom was like a ghost and like trying to warn you, then yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. This whole interview is very, very awkward. I actually had to make a little compilation. This is when I talked about the interview stylings of Cowboy H Bub. This is him clipped down to the essence.
I mean,
your mother
that is there, an albino bear monster.
Wait, and he's called her an albino bear? How dare you, Cowboy H Bub? Yeah, I like that little albino bear thing. It's like suddenly John Carpenter got into the scoring.
Albino bear monster.
It doesn't feel like it's backed by facts. It's like this is Cowboy H Bub is just coming up with this stuff right off the top of his head.
Yeah, I don't know what he meant by albino bear monster.
Yeah, I think he was confused by the whole Haints thing too. I'm not quite sure. I guess you have to have a pretty explicit knowledge of Haints before even getting in this list. So let's give this teacher one more chance to educate us on the topic of Haints. Hopefully this part makes sense.
The belief was in deep Appalachia that every family had at least one member, one child, who could raise a rapping spirit or a knocking spirit. They could even inhabit pieces of furniture. They could inhabit the attic of your house. They could inhabit your walls and just generally create a nuisance. But sometimes they serve for a good purpose. They could alert you of coming disaster, warn you of dangers to come, that kind of thing.
And so, as you can tell, we had to bring up Haints at number 10, because Haints are typically spirit creatures. They can also take the shape of monsters and apparently my aunt's wicker furniture. And there's also a color called Haint Blue. Man, I tell you what, that just ain't right.
Okay, who is this for? You need to tell me this, Drea. Are people enjoying Cowboy H Bub? I think I'd rather watch all those Blackwell Ghost sequels with a man called host. What's his name again? Turner Clay, I think.
I do not remember. I remember the Clay part, but that was was that the pseudonym?
Yeah, I guess that was his name. But my point being, we thought we had hit.
Question?
We thought we had kind of hit the. Who is this for? Who is Cowboy H Bub for? I think we thought we kind of hit.
I think he's confused. Yeah, this wouldn't have been greenlit to production if there was money behind it. Because yeah, exactly. He's got the personality and energy for a children's show, but nothing. I don't know, man.
But no, I don't think. Yeah, as we're gonna learn, this is just number 10 coming in. Haints. There's a lot more gory stuff that he gets into. There's no way meant for kids at all. I don't know, but talking about what the guy was actually talking about, the actual Haints. The way he describes it makes me think like Jeff the Mongoose was some kind of Haint. He talks about the inside the walls and the knocking, and that someone in that Haint family is always a Haint raiser. Have you ever heard of this?
Well, not by those terms, sure, but that he's talking about poltergeists, right? Knocking ghosts.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I guess just
so generally, there's going to be kids when they're like adolescence. That's like a peak energy shit or whatever, you know? That's when things start to get like riled up. It's not every single family though, every single household, but if there is, it's usually centered around one person, and it's kind of like that it picks on or attaches to.
Yeah, and he is just kind of cruising through this. He's got to do 10 of them. And when his list first happened...
He's not very... it's definitely not very thorough.
We're not going much further either. And it just makes me wonder, like, I got curious what was on this list. He gets through... I'm like, would Evil Nate be on this list? Like, he's a Kentucky guy. I really think there's lots of Kentucky things. Remember, last Christmas was all about Kentucky and the chicken and everything. Like, Kentucky is very ingrained in...
Are you trying to say that... Were you literally... trying to say that Big Nate said cryptid? What?
Not Big Nate, Evil Nate. Big Nate's a book, I believe.
Evil Nate.
Yeah, Evil Nate, yeah.
I don't know.
He was Big Nate.
I don't know, he said big something.
Well, that's it. Taints.
Okay, I guess if you want him to be a cryptid, he could be.
We need to get past the taints. So for the next entry in this Kentucky Cryptids, I'll give Cowboy H Bub a little credit for introducing us to something that I had not heard of yet. Unfortunately, I hate it because of how he says it. Listen.
I call this the Bell South Barn. Can you hear me now? Nah, but you know who can't hear me? The victims of the Boonesboro octopus. But you know who can hear me? My buddy Jethro, who had a one-on-one with the Boonesboro octopus. Let's throw it over to him, see what he's got to say about it.
That animal is real. I saw it. I saw it with my own two eyes. And because I'm a farmer in the Boonesboro area, and it came out of the Kentucky River, grabbed one of my cows, and dragged it back to the depths like Cthulhu. And when I saw that, first of all, I pooped my pants. Second of all, I was like, just completely mind blown and started believing in all this stuff. You know, that's why you see all this stuff behind me. I got really into cryptids and voodoo, and I still like believe in the good Lord, but like at the same time, I need to know about the dark stuff if I'm going to be able to fight it. Okay.
Oh, fight it. Yeah, that was a man by the name of Jethro McClure. This is a friend of Cowboy H Bub who not only encountered the Boonesboro octopus, he plans to fight it. Wow, with voodoo, I think he said.
Is that what he said? I thought he said those were the things that he had.
Yeah, he started getting into cryptids and Cthulhu and voodoo because I guess he has to fight what I hate that he says it like this.
The Boonesboro octopus.
Oh, it's like Cowboy H Bub.
I kind of hate how he says everything, but yeah.
Yeah, he does. And so, yeah, this is one. Have you ever heard of this before? This Boonesboro octopus? Oh, I guess I'll do it.
The Boonesboro octopus.
All right, yeah, so last thing you kind of expect to find in Kentucky, some giant octopus. I have my doubts about the validity of these claims and also the persona of this guy, Jethro McClure, and you should too after hearing the rest.
So, first of all, it's real. My grandpappy saw it.
No.
There was a little girl, actually, who had like suction cup marks all over her body one time. It didn't eat her, though. I guess it was just playing with her like a little toy. But, some people say an octopus can't be in fresh water. Well, this thing was a government experiment in Fort Knox, for sure. They were trying to gene edit, create some kind of Godzilla or something, and they didn't do it right. And they just said, well, guys, we've done this foobar, so let's take it. We're going to throw it in the Kentucky River. And that's what they did. And it's serious business. It's serious business. Like, I still go fishing, but I got my shotgun with me, I'll tell you that.
This bad boy's coming in at number 9, because there's really only a few sightings, but nonetheless, when cows go missing, we Kentuckians start to notice. Trust me, I can tell you that from personal experience.
Okay, what does that mean? And I was out the moment that other guy said grandpappy and foobar. That's what you get. This is a fake guy. The social studies teacher. Yeah, we kind of go. You get lured in. The first guy he goes to is his old teacher, and I'm like, well, yeah, this is a real guy. I think this is a completely fake guy, especially after hearing that he is a faker too. I don't trust Cowboy H Bub at this point.
I think this entire thing. I don't want to call it a documentary or a film. I think this is all just bait. I think that we, as a podcast, are being lured into a trap. They're like, oh, let's just create something for Unbelievers Podcast to fucking make fun of if they're dumb enough to think this is real. And then, yeah, we are.
Well, no, it's a little early to say that. There's more real people, but the bad thing is the bad thing that Cowboy H Bub does in this is he mix in real people with an occasional like guy like that. This Jethro guy who's talking about his grandpappy and foobar. Just completely, throws that away. But I mean, I am interested in the
Bonesboro octopus.
If it is in any way real, and it got weird. Oh yeah, I'm sure there was a little girl out there, but she just got suction cup marks on her. Like, so what is some weird anime fantasy this dude's having about this and that?
Whoa, nobody. Okay, that now you just made it weird.
I'm making it weird. I didn't put this out. I'm merely examining.
You said anime fantasy, dude. Nobody else was thinking that.
Oh, believe me, he was. What was his name? Jethro McClure or whatever. That was his complete intention in that. But. So that's it. The octopus comes in at number 9. Let's move on to number 8. And again, I got to give props for introducing another lesser-known cryptid for us to enjoy. This one being presented what I believe to be a real person. This is not like the last guy. This is a woman named Sarah Clevenger who tells us about a creature referred to as the Kentucky chupacabra, known locally as the gravedigger.
One of the most publicized cases involving a gravedigger came from a man who was driving by a graveyard outside of Jefferson, Wisconsin late one night. As he passed, he saw what he thought was a large man digging in a grave with his hands. So he slowed down to take a closer look, and this caused the man in the graveyard to stand up and turn to face him. The driver would later describe what he saw as a creature part dog and part ape. It was covered in dark fur, had the body of a large, powerful primate, but it had the head of a dog. And if that's not hard enough to believe, the driver actually returned to the graveyard the same time the next night, hoping to get another look at this thing, and he did. It was right there in the exact same spot, still digging. When it spotted the driver, it growled at him and scared him away. At some point, I guess, it caught on to the fact that it was being watched, and it stood up and turned around and looked at him, and he saw that it had the face of a canid type creature. So it wasn't a human. It wasn't just a big person in some type of clothing. It was actually some type of creature.
Right, and gravedigger is a strange term used for is obviously the dog man.
I don't know, man. The dog man did not grave dig.
Yeah, that's what is weird. And they almost, there's other parts in this where they think that they was just digging for some kind of sustenance. It was going to eat what was ever in the grave. Like, that's how hard up this was. And she says in this that it happens in Wisconsin. So it makes me go, yeah, it's dog man. Also, what is this doing on this Kentucky list? But she is a real person. She doesn't mention a grandpappy or a shotgun. Sarah Clevenger is a real one. So, get a little more points back to you, H Bub here. We're not talking about the
Bonesboro octopus.
This is kind of, I like the term gravedigger for a monster, but this is what their dogman was. They're known as the gravedigger.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it has like a dog-like appearance, I guess it's their version of a dog. I mean, it could just be a totally separate thing. Why is just let it be its own separate thing?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for too, but Sarah doesn't want to do that. Watch.
And he gave basically the same description that people give about Dogman, which Dogman obviously is kind of still growing in popularity, but tons of people think
he's on the rise.
Dogman. So that's why I say that I think we have a new name for the gravedigger, is because I believe that they are the same creature. I don't think there's any difference. If this creature exists, I think that's what it is personally. But there's not a whole lot out there about the gravedigger.
Honestly, it's one scariest me by far. You gotta ask the question, if it likes corpses, does it also like live flesh? We hope we're dealing with the American bald eagle type situation here.
You mean a vulture?
What was that now?
A vulture type situation. Eat like dead things.
Sorry, brother. In America, everything's a bald eagle.
Okay, I hate him more with every clip. But yeah, sorry. That kind of brought me down. Yeah, there it is. The gravedigger or the dog man. Not as obscure as I first thought, the way when he first brought it up.
No, it's just it's frustrating to hear a question like, yeah, I know it's not a real question that he asked and everything, rhetorical, but well, if he likes corpses, then does he like live flesh? No, we just established that he likes corpses.
Right, and he's talking about, then he wants to just make the dumb vulture joke. I don't know what that had to do with anything, who's talking to him, why they're cutting this together like this. What are you doing, Cowboy H Bub? So yes, number 8.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He's guiding us through this, but it is a bit of for an anniversary show. It's kind of a good walk down memory lane. We're getting to meet some of our old friends. Oh, hey, it's the Dog Man. Good to see you again, Dog Man. But let's get to number 7. But maybe just the intro for this, because I'll give you a credit again after shitting on you. Cowboy H Bub drops a joke that landed. It's unbelievable. Here, Cowboy H Bub, what is number 7?
The Wampus Cat. A lot bigger than that thing right there. Been seen all over the globe, from northern Tennessee to southern Kentucky. But don't just take it from me. Let my friend Earl tell you about his little encounter with the Wampus Cat. See y'all in a little bit.
Okay, not bad, especially compared to everything out of his mouth so far. I'm kind of trying to be fair here when he talked about all around the world, whatever, northern Kentucky to Tennessee. Pretty good stuff there. But
wait, what was the joke that landed?
You see, it went right by. He said, this is a creature that's been sighted the world. I'll just play it again. I couldn't do it justice.
Yeah, please. I was like,
all right, here.
The Wampus Cat. A lot bigger than that thing right there. Been seen all over the globe, from northern Tennessee to southern Kentucky.
Okay, see right there.
Oh.
He tried.
Yeah.
Lame joke, but dry enough to actually pull it off.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
Okay, but
no, I'm not trying to shit all over this guy. It's just like, I don't know. It did go right by me. Are you doing a comedy thing? Or are you doing like, I don't know.
I thought, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. He got you that one time. He's like, I'll do the straight angle and do a decent joke instead of the really over the top bad joke angle. It's like maybe find a middle, H Bub. But we're still early on here, and he goes into the Wampus Cat, and this whole recap is done by a man named Earl Jones. And it is a pretty bad telling. It's just another fake guy who claims he's hunting it for years, but his audio stinks and he is boring. The Wampus Cat, you deserve much better. We're going to cover Wampus Cat independently at a later time and give it his proper thing, but it did come in at number 7 to him.
Oh, good.
So this means that we can jump to number 6, or one you should appreciate because I know you enjoy your lake monsters. Yes?
Me?
Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that was like a thing for me. Yeah, okay.
Well, prepare yourselves as the fearsome aquatic terror known as
Harry, the Harrington Lake Monster. Half Loch Ness, half pig. Don't know if he's a science experiment or a product of nuclear radiation down there in Garrett County, Kentucky. And bad news for you meat eaters. He don't like people to eat bacon, and he don't like people to eat fish. Which means he don't like me.
You tell him, Cowboy H Bub. Tell him. I don't know. Am I warming up to this guy? He sucks, right? That wasn't so bad.
I think. Like, I'm surprised you didn't say something about how like that. It doesn't matter what you eat, right? Because you're going to like him anyway. But I'm sure. I'm trying to imagine. Would I be able to hang out with this person outside of this character, or is he always his character, but just like a little slightly more subdued?
Well, would you go cryptid hunting? Would you go look for this? What thing? We got another half and half thing. Check it out.
Half Loch Ness, half pig.
It's like a mashup of all the older ones.
He's half of a lake.
He's half a lake and he's half a pig. Yeah.
Half Loch Ness, half pig.
Yeah. But you're right. I am starting to think that this is like a trap that he made this just to get us to clip it because he said other stuff
he don't like people to eat bacon, and he don't like people to eat fish.
Okay.
He don't like me.
I just kept that so every time I'd be like, do you think I like you? Do you know if we like you?
He don't like me.
Good call, Cowboy H Bub. But yeah, this one's pretty incredible. I didn't really know much about this. A Loch Ness pig monster. It's pretty incredible. And thankfully, real person, Sarah Clevenger from before, she knows a lot about it.
The Harrington Lake Monster it's short but sweet. Sometimes it's referred to as Kentucky's very own Loch Ness Monster. There haven't been any recent sightings. It seems kind of like an isolated incident, although a lot of people in the area think that, maybe there is something there. And one of the phrases you'll hear pretty often in regards to this particular body of water is there's fishes the size of Volkswagens in the water. I hear that phrase all the time. It's crazy how that very sentence is circulated so often in regard to the ecosystem there.
Well, look, it's a pretty standard instrument of measurement for big water monsters, right? Like, you could picture that immediately.
Yeah.
Volkswagen?
I can picture anything you want me to picture. I'll picture it.
I mean, you would never say they have fish the size of, I don't know what, name a car.
School bus.
They have fish the size of a school bus. No,
the size of a Subaru hatchback, the size of a Miata, the size of a freaking smart car.
Oh, a smart car. I can picture that, but that doesn't seem as scary as a Volkswagen to me. A Volkswagen is a little
size of a Mini Cooper.
Oh, no, again, a Volkswagen is a little bigger than that.
The size of a Pinto.
There you go. And I wasn't even going to pick on Sarah. I haven't clipped her at all, but she did kind of say one thing that I kind of left out. Let's see if I have it here. Oh.
This particular body of water.
This body of water is where you found the Volkswagen.
This particular body of water.
All right. Sorry, Sarah. But Sarah has more. Party. So Sarah's got more. I like this one a lot. It turns out this whole thing is not just some hillbilly fantasy monster, which is probably what you would think immediately if you heard that there was a
half Loch Ness, half pig.
No, this is not hillbilly sighted at all, but this is an event witnessed by a British.
There was a UK professor who was at his vacation home on the lake. He was out early one morning, just, enjoying his deck, his patio, and the river and all that. He saw something that kind of caught his attention, so he started watching it, and he described it as, basically, a lot of people laugh at this, but he kind of described like a swimming pig monster, because he said that, it was a long, kind of like a serpent or an eel, but it had a curly tail. It had a blunt snout. A very weird description for a sea monster. It's not something you would expect associated with an aquatic creature.
Or a British. And yes, it is always them discovering these sea beasts, though technically Irish with Nessie. But wasn't it a British doctor who spread that picture around of Nessie?
Scottish, bro.
Oh, what's that?
Scottish.
Yeah, but it was a British doctor who started the whole thing. He went down there and he's a guy with the picture.
Never mind. Yeah, I was talking, you said Irish with the...
Oh, well, actually, it was some Irishman found Nessie. No, it was an Irishman that initially saw Nessie.
The first one.
Yeah, in like the 500s. It's like so long ago, but they always blame the Irish for starting this. But I think it's one of the British who are going after these things. They're going all the way to Kentucky and discovering giant pig Nessies. And so this is where this comes from on this list. And Sarah comes to the same conclusion we all do, right before having a debut conspiracy of her own.
The way he described it, it sounded a little bit ridiculous, and he saw it pretty quickly, and then it vanished. He claimed that he saw it a time or two more afterwards, but no one else has really seen it. And this all took place in the early or the mid-1970s, I believe. So, we've had a lot of years in between, and nobody's really seen Harry. They call him Harry, the Harrington Lake Monster, since then, unfortunately. But apparently
Prince
the
Harry.
fish are as big as Volkswagens there. It could have maybe been a wild pig. I've never heard anybody mention that, but I feel like it's maybe it was a pig, because pigs do swim. They can swim. So maybe that's actually what he saw, was a wild hog.
Did she just come up with that on the spot? It almost sounded like it, right? It's like, it might have just been a pig. It's like, if so, that's great. Sarah Clevenger, I'd give her props for that. What did that sound like to you?
It sounded like, I don't know what you mean. It sounded fine to me. I didn't think she made it up on the spot. It sounded normal.
I don't know.
She's just talking. She just knows how to deliver lines like non-robotically. She just.
I guess so, but
yeah.
that's probably one of the more easy explanations. Be like dog, maybe. Like she'd be like, maybe it was a dog. I think maybe it was just a big dog. I never come. Maybe it's just.
Well, I mean, they said it looked like a pig, so it makes sense to say like, well, maybe it was a pig.
They're like, did this British guy not know that pigs were aquatic creatures? He's always saying like aquatic creatures as if that's what we all know. We associate pigs with swimming constantly. It's like, yeah, they can. We don't consider. We're not going to go to the aquarium and see a pig.
I wouldn't call it an aquatic creature.
Yeah.
It's not amphibious. It's not a frog. It's not a turtle. Like,
she did. Yeah,
it can just because you can swim doesn't make it an aquatic creature. Like, we are not aquatic creatures.
Are we? Well, technically, we are. Dogs are.
Do they?
Dogs are aquatic creatures.
Dogs are aquatic creatures. Yeah, dogfish.
There you go. Maybe dogfish was just a fish after all. Huh.
Maybe dogfish was just a cat.
And look, I'll let you make the call here. This next clip is entirely optional. Do you want to hear Cowboy H Bub's response bit or about Pig Nessie? Or no? You can lead us through this. You want it?
Well, oh man. Well, don't put it on me. This is all... if you thought it was good enough to clip, then let's hear it.
Oh, I didn't. But you wanted it, though.
The Louisville Demon Leaper. a gargoyle type figure out there in old Jefferson County. Not to be confused with my ex-girlfriend Tasha, the Louisville Demon Sleeper. Tasha! I want my Wranglers back! Oh God, her boyfriend's home. We gotta go.
Yeah, I could have maybe kept a little respect. The last little bit of respect. I know he shows himself peeping on his girlfriend in his documentary. He loves being a creep. He throws his mother-in-law under the bus. He's peeping on people. He's always talking smack about everybody. Cowboy H Bub's kind of gonna get what's coming to him in this. He's a bit of a jerk.
I hope that it's just a character and it's just a caricature, and that he actually doesn't have a mother-in-law or an ex-girlfriend named Tasha. Like, if he just made up some characters, then that's cool. Okay. But if these are real people he's referencing, like, boy, you're sloppy.
Yeah, we're going to find out this was like a hard journalism thing he did. He actually is like some kind of weird sexual predator or something. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, allegedly. I'm not saying he is or not. I have no idea. And back to his list. And look, I'm skipping another one. I'm opting to skip number 5. It's an even more obscure one called the Louisville Demon Leaper. This is some kind of gargoyle type creature that actually might be Mothman or Spring Hill Jack. There's just not much to this leaper. I don't know if you watch this part. Do you agree? Do you? Yeah. But and we don't want to hear any of the jokes to it. But we have to get to this next one. And this is one that we are familiar with, but probably completely forgot was from Kentucky. Couldn't believe it.
Hurry's kind of a goofy little.
Bearilla, half bear, half Godzilla,
Half gorilla.
half gorilla. Oh. Hell yeah.
Okay. I'm starting to think, Cowboy H Bub, you're right. I think he might be copying us right there. That half Godzilla part. I think one of the hosts genuinely said that that it was half bear, half Godzilla. And it was just like an off the cuff thing. He rehearsed and filmed this thing. Yikes.
That's the whole thing about this whole production is very yikes. But that part, if anything, was never mind. I was going to say, that was like mildly entertaining, but it worked though.
Right. But this is it. I'm kind of happy you brought this up. I had completely forgotten. Old Bearilla is a Kentucky cryptid, so we get to run in. I'm actually wearing my.
I still think about pasta, man.
I'm wearing. Yes, I know this is not video form.
Pasta logo.
I am wearing shout out to Phil from TYO Toys. I'm wearing the Bearilla pasta T-shirt that he sent to me. I really appreciate that. Glad I still have it.
That honestly goes into like the top. That goes into the friggin' Hall of Fame as far as cryptid shirts or whatever related, anything paranormal related that's a pun, that shirt.
Oh, yeah. This was great work. I'm glad.
I'm a goober.
Yeah, I'm glad to look back at that. That's why I love Bearilla. I'm glad we're getting into it. And Sarah gives us a brief history of Bearilla, the half bear, half gorilla, half werewolf, half ugly motherfucker. Go back and listen to our episode on Bearilla if you want a lot more, but there is some new info here from a man named Douglas Cottrell, who is very obviously a fake guy. He is dressed like he's in witness protection, and he's talking in front of an obvious green screen mobile residence, and he makes some bold Bearilla claims.
It just kept getting faster and louder, and I just jumped in the truck and started heading out there, and I could see it just running after me, and it got right up next to me, and it was clawing at me with this big old claw. It had 5 fingers. I could see the big old claws, his black paw. It didn't look like no bear. It's too fast, and it just scared me to death. I've never seen nothing like it. If it's out there, it's got to have got to some people, and I just feel like we gotta be looking for this thing. You know what I'm saying? If we don't, some people are going to get hurt. You might not believe me, but people need to know. People need to know.
Boo.
I tell you what, I did a Bearilla had me giddy as a chubby 10-year-old boy in front of a birthday cake, yup. However, after we discussed all this cryptid more intensely with our guest, Sarah Clevenger of the Paranormally Correct TikTok channel, there was a theory that piqued all our interest. Sarah seems to think that Dogman, Bearilla, my mother-in-law, the Gravedigger, and our next monster are all the same species. A canine cryptid that goes by many names.
Yes, okay, I hate you again, Cowboy H Bub. Enough with the mother-in-law. But hey, that's something different.
Yeah,
Sarah,
it's funny, drop it.
I know it is, and he even uses a graphic of like an old lady pointing, like, "Oh, look at this old ball and chain of mine."
If anything, that's what made me smile. But I think he'd be better off in like a different some kind of different application, some kind of different
country
vehicle.
or something. Like if this was in Brazil and like it was 4 Brazilians or something. Like I maybe I get it.
No, I mean not doing this.
Oh,
like
yeah.
something entirely different. Like maybe like a ride operator at Disneyland.
Yeah, you'd probably be pretty good at that. If you're like, you can play your cowboy H Bub character, or no, not even that, because that's a lot of responsibility having a job like that. I could see him in one of those old ghost towns, like touristy little trap towns, and he just takes people around, tells them stories. That would be, I could see him doing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it's as a ride operator, you only have to interact with these people for like a short amount of time.
Yeah, he'd be a little much.
That's probably better.
Yeah, he's probably monitored a little much there. People are going to report on him. He just needs to. Maybe that's probably not best for him. But I did like that Sarah. She got a great plug for her TikTok. You never hear a lot of TikTok plugs. It's like, go check her out on TikTok. I actually found her on Instagram, so she is a real person. Sarah Clevenger. She's out there. And I guess it sounds like they're done with Barilla because Sarah believes all of these monsters to be the same species. And I'm not sure if I like that or not. I trust Sarah, though. She is on TikTok. Paranormally Correct. Check it out. What is the verdict? Well, we find out as they reveal that number 3 on the top Kentucky cryptid list is the beast of land between the lakes. That's right, a tale we have heard from friend of the show, Elijah Henderson. And I wonder why he wasn't in this instead of Sarah kind of telling the same. In this, so Sarah kind of tells us the same.
Well, they don't all know each other just because they live in the same state.
And this is actually might be competing with things Elijah Henderson's up to. So yeah, coming in at number 3 is Beast of LBL. But the thing that ties these all together, according to Sarah, even the land between the lakes monster, is that these are all skinwalkers, allegedly. And I kind of remember, do you remember the story of LBL? It was about that family that was mauled by Barilla because, LBL must have blocked that part out. Remember that there's like a family that gets murdered in their camper and the camper gets all beat up and the cops show up and then the people are swept in, the government comes in, cleans the whole thing up. All right. Well, this is a part, I kind of forgot how gruesome that whole story was. This is a part where the cops realize they've gotten to the scene of this crime. They realize there's a missing body at the crime scene, and they find this.
So they start searching the area, and they find a little girl with her back broken, hanging in a tree, like 20 or 30 feet off the ground. Her intestines and organs were missing. They had been torn out, and she had been carried up into this tree and left just hanging. This is what really, I think, affected these 2 police officers so deeply, was just seeing this family who went out there for a good time to enjoy LBL and the water and, the nature and all that in such a horrible, horrific condition.
You could be visiting anywhere, and this would be a bummer. It doesn't matter that this is a lake. It's like, it's extra sad, because, they're just enjoying the lake, and then up in a tree, intestines.
Yeah, I think it's just extra sad that it's a little kid that was just enjoying the lake.
Right, and that's
having a good time.
And it's such a serene setting, maybe. I was like, I don't know, you could be going anywhere, though.
Well, you're focusing too much on the setting part. That's not what she meant. Yeah, you're right. It could be anywhere. It's extra sad that they were just having a good time.
Yeah.
That they were making some memories, being a family, having fun.
I know. You couldn't write it, but I guess you could, because that's literally every horror movie is people are going to have a great time, and it doesn't end too well. And I must have also forgotten that the Men in Black are part of this as well. When the government comes in, she claims the Men in Black are involved with this cover-up. So they come into this investigation, and they shut it all down. It was a total cover-up, and this is how Cowboy H Bub reacts to this bombshell.
There really was a cover-up, and people got killed. Hell, that's just awful. Since there's no paper trail, and now there's no blood trail, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Some legends we'll never unravel. But just like Bigfoot, we may come to find out this one missing species has been hiding for all these years. Or maybe the Native Americans were onto something, and the land between the lakes monster is a skinwalker, waiting to judge the next set of campers trespassing on sacred ground.
Well, okay, well, then what's he waiting for? People go there all the time. I think Elijah's there like every 4th Friday,
Yeah. I mean, I think that Elijah definitely, him and his dad did like a much better job with the information. But I mean, I guess maybe they're really pressed for time. They only had 3 minutes each for each of these. I don't know.
He does act a bit.
I don't know.
He acts rushed in this, the host of this, because this thing is only maybe a little less than an hour. He's like, all right, we got to hurry up. It's like, why? You're putting this up on Tubi. This could be as long as you want. He's like, look, I don't feel like doing much, all right? We got to move on. These people are only saying 2 sentences, and they have to go. And so this is kind of what a lot of this has all come down to. I don't know why he bothered naming different ones, because he's basically, that Sarah lady came in and go, they're all skinwalkers. So skinwalkers are very OP. I think, in the whole cryptid world. It's like, if you believe in skinwalkers as a thing, it's like, and everything is a skinwalker, and that's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Bigfoot's a skinwalker. I'm a skinwalker.
Right, everything. Hates everything. I don't know. It's like, that's too much. It's sour. Just play along. He's like, I'm doing...
skinwalkers.
He's like, I'm doing...
Skinwalkers are Haints.
I'm doing a top 10 list. Why do you don't take 7 of the things away because of skinwalkers? Let's just call them what they are. Call them Pig Monster and Bearilla and LBL, all these things. But so, okay, that was his coverage of LBL, but we're nearing the end of the list at number 2 now. It seems hard to top skinwalkers and bearillas, but let's hear it. Turn me on, Cowboy H Bub.
The Pope Lick Monster. Half man, half goat. Kind of like Satan himself. Now, you might be wondering, how many licks does it take to get to the Pope Lick Monster? Well, there's Paint Lick.
Jesus.
There's Yellow Lick. There's Blue Lick.
Oh, no.
Hell, there's Red Lick. A lot of licks to get to that Pope Lick Monster. And if you ain't careful, he'll give you a licking himself. See y'all? Lickety split.
Jesus Christ.
That was just a long soundboard clip. You were on fire, Cowboy H Bub. Talking about the Pope Lick Monster. And did we cover that thing? Was it on Monsters Mysteries America? Pope Lick?
Definitely heard it. I know I've heard of it. I can't remember if we didn't have like a specific episode on it, that's for sure. But we would have made a lot more jokes about it if we had.
He took full advantage, and especially in this one,
was way too much. Yeah.
This delivery, he seems genuinely curious when he says,
you might be wondering, how many licks does it take to get to the Pope Lick Monster?
the emphasis is weird and good.
You might be wondering,
Sorry.
How many licks does it take to get to the Pope Lick Monster?
Oh, man. And I don't want to know, what is the first thing he's saying here? Does he say paint lick? Is he licking paint? Listen.
There's Paint Lick. There's Yeller Lick. There's Blue Lick. Hell, there's Red Lick. A lot of licks to get to that Pope Lick Monster.
But is he saying pink lick? Is that what it's because pink lick?
Maybe. I don't. It sounds like there are other places.
Is there?
There's Paint Lick. There's Yeller Lick. There's Blue Lick. Hell, there's Red Lick. A lot of licks to get to that Pope Lick Monster.
Stop saying lick, especially.
See y'all, lickety split.
Well, actually, that part's good. Maybe we can use that when we say goodbye at the end of the show.
No, it's not good. Russ, like, wow, you need to recalibrate your shit. None of that was good.
See y'all, lickety split.
I think it's that you spend too much time, like when you spend enough time listening to, or when you're clipping and everything, it's like, okay, well, this is.
Yeah, I started learning his ins and outs.
Crap.
I hate him so much that I'm like, everything he says is so stupid. I actually starting to appreciate you. It's like, no, you're right. I can't.
Yikes. No, yeah.
All right.
Shake it off.
You might be wondering, how many licks does it take to get to the Pope Lick Monster?
Or to the end of this thing. Okay, yes. And I will say, I was baiting you a little. We for sure covered Pope Lick because that is just a fancy name for our old buddy Goat Man. And this comes to us from a bridge known as the Pope Lick Trestle. Goat Man, he is a bridge-type cryptid, natural enemy of Mothman. He's a great cryptid. We covered him in a previous episode, but again, great to revisit him on this 6-year episode. This is kind of like a clip show, but there is some new information here. Well, new to us, because I didn't know. I don't think I knew that there is a very famous Pope Lick Goat Man short film that we might have missed. But thankfully, Cowboy H Bub did not.
The short film, called The Legend of the Pope Lick Monster, came into a negative light when it was released in 1988. But we know the director of the film, and he said he created the film as a cautionary tale. He does not endorse this occult or legend as many would think he would. Nonetheless, he made the cult classic short film, and we'll show you a little clip from that now to give you a taste of what the legend is all about.
Okay. Okay, so there's this nerd on a bridge looking like M. Night Shyamalan. And this is a naked guy with a goat head here. He's terrifying. He's getting mad. And yeah, there goes the train. And this is part of the short film. It evidently kills this nerd guy who was faced with the goat man.
Why would you pick that as an audio clip?
Oh, that was just him. That was just him. I wanted to get the little ambience too with the way he so this is something we missed, that there was a goat man short film out there, and I found this thing. So
nobody could tell what's going on.
That's why I was trying to narrate it. That's why I was, there was
okay.
Just because the goat sounds were so great that the goat man was going out there. And yes, so this is part of the goat man's lore, is that he tricks people on train trestles to kill themselves or get killed by the train. And I found this thing. The director, this guy's friend, Cowboy H Bub's friend, is a guy named Ron Shilkanai. And here's the description. One crisp October evening a long ago finds 3 teenagers on a quest for beer, romance, danger, and a rendezvous with the Sheep Man. So don't even call him Goat Man. He's Sheep Man in this short film here. And then we have text telling us that, quote, while working on this film, a man came forward as an eyewitness account, but asked that we keep him anonymous. And now we get to another guy.
I'm so sure.
Right. So we're going to get to another guy. This guy is a total embarrassment, and we will discuss after.
And you all are you're gonna like darken me and change my voice, right? Yeah, so back in college, I was a bit of a partier, and it was my senior year, and I had a group of friends that was, they knew I was into the paranormal, and they said, hey, we're going to a party at Pope Lick, and so went to the party, drank some alcohol, did some drugs, and while we were partying, suddenly we hear a scream, and somebody, I won't mention who they were.
Why?
But I knew them a bit. We had some classes together.
Oh, maybe social studies. So yeah, this is another fake guy. Another fake guy for a story that's actually pretty cool. Goat man, sheep man, whatever. But this guy, as you hearing just now, he was in a hockey mask, and it was just cheap and badly acted. This is the other moment. Really brought the whole documentary down for me. Having to get a fake guy for something we know all about already.
You're gonna hide my identity, right? Because I totally think that I'm gonna lose the respect of my peers and my job if I'm found on this very popular documentary.
He's got a beanie and a hockey mask on too. It's like, yes, unless we can, there's some kind of technology that can remove hockey masks, you're fine. But you're fake anyway. Who cares? Yeah. That's the thing. Mixing in the real people with this, just do one or the other. Come on. So I'm back to hating it, but they won me back a little though, because instead of cutting back to Cowboy H Bub, which is the way of this, they throw into a segment for the honorable mentions. And I was like, wait, honorable mentions in Kentucky Cryptids documentary. What could these even be? This list is not strong already. The Leaper got in. A pig was on this list. Well, let's unlearn some honorable Kentucky Cryptid colonels.
I was just looking at them there mountains over yonder, thinking about the cryptids that didn't quite make the list. I'm talking the Bigfoot, the Mothman, the Milton Lizard, and the devil monkeys. Hidden in our hearts and in the mountains.
How did those not make the list? Those are better than any of these. It's because
that devil monkeys, hell yeah.
Right? He's like, man, Mothman, I wish I could have found a way to squeeze him in, maybe like right below the Leaper or something. I don't know. Maybe they didn't make the list because they don't have shit to do with Kentucky, right? Maybe Nessie should be getting honorable mentions too, or the Yeti, like anything. He's like, also throw in the swamp ape. He just couldn't make this list and couldn't make a case strong enough to get through this rock solid list.
I can't believe that the Kentucky cryptids didn't include the Yeti.
Right. He would have been closer talking about some Japanese cryptid because of the Kentucky chicken Christmas connection they got going. He could have pulled something off with that. But no, he goes, yeah, sorry, Bigfoot. You'll have to wait till maybe next year, or maybe, if we do an honorable mentions. But so, yeah, Bigfoot, Mothman, forget about those. We have reached the end, the ultimate in Kentucky cryptids, and you will not believe it.
Now, we saved the best for last, as this one has the most evidence behind it. If you're like me, you've been probed by aliens before. So I'm going to let old Geraldine Stith take you down to Kelly, Kentucky on a warm night in 1955. Take it away, Geraldine.
They didn't have plumbing, so you had to go out to the well to get water. So Billy Ray decided to go out and get some cold water, and as he was there, he heard something up in the sky. He looked to where he heard the sound, and there was this big silver object with all the colors of the rainbow floating behind it, he said. Didn't know what it was, ran in the house, slammed the door behind him, and told everyone what he just saw. Well, they just kind of skidded him away and thought he was just trying to fool with them and try to tell him, just stop. Maybe it was just a shooting star. He said no, he knew what that was. He knew what it looked like.
Oh, a shooting star, you say?
I think your brain is a shooting star, son. Very funny.
All right, so this is
very funny.
Number one on this list is the Kentucky Goblins, the Kelly Hopkinsville event. Wow, and that's quite a get.
Yeah.
That's quite a get for him. He got Geraldine Stith, who was a little kid.
You mean his mom?
I think she was one of the youngins that was running around this shack back in 1955 and witnessed the Kelly Green Men, aka Kentucky Goblins. Wow, we really got to celebrate this one. What else we got here? Do I have him? Oh, too bad I don't have the shotgun one. But
I think your brain is a shooting star, son.
Very funny. He was just about to say that in her story. That is a big fact of this. They all thought Billy Ray just saw a shooting star, and she corroborates this.
Why would you lie about something like that?
Oh, pretty good. Maybe because
if you're like me, you've been probed by aliens before.
All right, not bad, Cowboy H Bub. You're not going to lose your star to these Kentucky Goblins. But so let's get into it. So now with this, Mrs. Stith is here. So we get this little Skype testimonial from Mrs. Stith. And this is a real thing. She's not a fake person, and it is worth a listen, as we are fans of the Goblins.
My dad still tried to ration with them, rationalize the whole thing. It was shooting star. Nah, wasn't none of those, he said. I know what those look like, Lucky. He told him no. So they start going back to the house, and as they're going back, lo and behold, out in the woods behind the house comes this little 3.5 foot tall being. It had big glowing eyes, huge ears, a big round head, and its arms nearly touched the ground, and it seemed to be floating on top of the ground. The legs were not moving. They didn't know what it was. So they run into the house, slammed the door behind them, and said, something's out here. Well, of course, they're all thinking, all right, Billy Ray done got lucky out there to go along with his little joke here to try to scare the girls. Because you got to realize these were all people in their early 20s. Billy Ray's wife was either 18 or 19 at the time. So that's what they thought.
Okay, yeah, that's very young, but besides the point. I think. I guess they were all just young college. This is just like college pranks that they were used to with this Billy Ray character.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, college pranks.
Yeah, they all sound like collegiate scholars, these kids with their shooting star brains. But she did say one thing. Remind me a couple things.
Yeah, that whole family.
Wait, what? A shooting star meat map? Just leave that part in, H Bub. Don't worry. You know what she meant. Great job there. So, but this is cool.
We all did, yeah.
I knew, shooting star, meat map, went over there, over here. It sounds like the same exact lady, which a lot of these ladies sound the same in these, but this is new. Actually, this is like a Skype call with one of the people there. Pretty interesting. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are more than familiar with the showdown at the Hopkinsville hovel. We all know the story where the grandma and everyone, they start blasting away once they are besieged by these Kentucky Goblins. They're all going, hell yeah, they're going after them. This is a true event, but I love her telling of it, or you wouldn't be hearing it.
Well, Billy Ray decides to run out the front door, and as he's standing there under this little stoop, this clawed hand comes down and tries to grab his hair. Well, my Aunt Eileen grabs him and yanks him in the house, and my dad runs out there and shoots it off the roof. Somebody yells, well, there's one in the maple tree, and he looks up toward the big tree in the yard, and sure enough, there's one sitting on a branch. So he shoots it. It
It's like one of those
to the ground, rolls
shoot
off,
gallery
and
games.
He's gone. By the time it's over with, they shot him off the back fence. They keep shooting them away from the windows and doors. They don't know what these things are. They keep coming back. They're not dying. They're not falling on the ground. What are they? Well,
I don't know. It's an invasion. And I feel like saying, I don't know, did you shoot the top of the trash can? Because that triggers the little thing that comes out and gets them. The way she's describing this little shooting gallery, it's like one pops up on the tree. All right, got to get the maple tree one. Right. But it almost sounds a little fun. I was always real scared for these guys. They seem pretty petrified for it, but she's excited telling it.
It's fun and scary. It could be both fun and scary.
Yeah, especially if you're a kid and you kind of really don't know what's going on. And TV, you probably don't have TV. You've never seen TV in 1955 if you're living out in the middle of Kelly Hopkinsville. So that maybe that also would say that they're not very influenced by sci-fi telling this kind of story. But she goes on about how the family went to the cops and this whole big group of law enforcement agents, they all descend on the premises. But that wasn't good enough for Mrs. Stith.
so, they did do searches, but as far as any protocol that should have been done, there was none. They didn't rope off anything. They didn't take samples of anything. They just wanted it gone. They wanted it gone. They just did not want this to get out any more than it already had. And so they just tried to get rid of it. And the way they got rid of it is to say that it was just a bunch of uneducated hillbillies and this didn't happen.
Oh.
The Kelly Green men earned the #1 spot because the most evidence is out there to corroborate this event. As well, the U.S. Navy, yes sir, released footage of a UFO, and that's a more verifiable source than most. So maybe the aliens really are here. But since they're hidden, but living on and around Earth, well, that makes them a cryptid too.
Okay, no. Does not, because then you're going to tell me that the alien is a skinwalker. Stop cheating your own list. He put an alien as #1. Now he's trying to justify that. I don't know if I agree with this.
I mean, what do you mean?
This is top 10 cryptids, and the #1 are the aliens.
Yeah, aliens can be considered cryptids.
Okay, I guess you and Cowboy H Bub are in agreement. Maybe that should be the poll.
That's what it means.
Huh?
Hidden. Things that we don't know everything about.
Fine. I guess people can be hidden.
It's a mystery.
All right, true. All right, you want to get semantic about it. I don't know why. All right.
Well, shit. That's what the word means. Fuck.
and also, I'll bring up, and I do concede it, but also, why is he bringing up the Navy Tic Tac video? I joked a while back about every documentary using the Navy TikTok video to go into whatever they want to say. I had no idea it was showing Kentucky cryptids at the end. He's like, oh, well, and also, the Navy saw Tic Tac, and, hoorah the Navy, because that means that these aliens are #1 cryptid. It's like, wait, where are you getting this from?
Well, he's definitely not good at organizing information, and he's not good at pacing, and it's just not good at this. But hey, they produced a thing, and yikes!
I'll say he's good at a couple things. He's good at getting things up on Tubi. He's definitely successful at that. And maybe I'm going to start calling him a cryptid, because I looked up Cowboy H Bub and nothing comes out. Nothing you can find except this. He's not like a YouTuber. He's not a guy who writes books or has documentaries or anything. He's just in this. Maybe I'll have to check the credits. I didn't want to dox him and look in there to find more information, but maybe I can find more about him. And maybe we can get some answers from this guy. Yeah, because he's a bit of a cryptid too. You can find way more about Tic Tacs than him. But that is going to wrap it up. We did it. It is time to say goodbye to Cowboy H Bub and his memory lane of unbelievable topics. But before that, I think he wants to say goodbye too.
Well, that's all the time we got for y'all today. You ever find yourself in the hills of Kentucky? Swing on by. Come get you a plate. I make a mean fried octopus.
All right.
I'll see you around.
Well,
take care now.
What's your address, bro?
Don't go.
Give me your address.
Hold on, gotta finish this song real quick. Yeah, we hardly knew ye. And who knew? Kentucky really has it all. It's got pig monsters, bearillas, Kentucky goblins.
In and out.
Haints. Everything. Cowboy H Bubs. It has it all. Well, we're going to ask, what should the poll be? Should it be, I was going to suggest, I don't know, what's just like something basic. What's the scariest thing from Kentucky? You can include chicken in that, but.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's not a fun question. That's so whatever.
I like
right?
ours.
You know this.
what can, or maybe it's like, are aliens cryptids, or what is a cryptid? And a few things listed underneath that. What do you think?
I think that the poll should be, should Cowboy H Bub try again and make another documentary?
Yes.
Or should he give up on filmmaking?
What should Cowboy H Bub do in the future? That should be, what should Cowboy H Bub do next?
Children's shows?
Right, children's shows, maybe.
True crime.
True crime could be in there.
Game shows.
Right.
Game show contestant.
Dating advice. He seems very confident in alpha.
He seems like he would be a good game show host. Yeah.
Right. A political game show starring him. I have no idea.
Political game show contestant / host.
Right. I see him more being some kind of protester that gets out of hand at something. So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll have to check the credits, maybe see who he really is. We are coming for you, Cowboy H Bub.
I wonder what he's like when he's angry. My God.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like him when he's because
you might be wondering, how many licks does it take to get to the Pope Lick monster?
No, what has to do.
Oh, you'll get a licking.
Yes, he does. I should have clipped him getting a licking. I was a little scared to get that, but. All right, that's it. Go to unbelieverspodcast.com. Go answer that poll. And let's go out with a great cryptid song that I was reminded of while doing this. And you guys might remember this. This is...
Mom was a bear. Her old daddy must have been a gorilla. I woke up in the morning face to face. I said, oh my God, I slept with a bearilla.
Yeah, this is the Bearilla Woman from Leroy Thomas from his classic album, Jewel on the Bayou. And I'm singing it now because this is a Cajun song and they just go on and on with the music. See, a whole nother verse of just this. Come on, get to it.
It's fucking bluegrass ska? Oh, sorry, Zydeco ska. Scottico?
This is the part. Yeah, that's okay. That was the part I wanted to hear. Bearilla. Good stuff from the Kentucky Cryptids. A fun list, a terrible documentary, a scathing indictment on all things Tubi, but I love them. Keep that coming. I love when people suggest fun stuff from Tubi. That whole service is anything can go up. And Chris Porteous, a little call out to you. You know, we covered the king of UFOs. We thought that was kind of an easy thing to pull off. But come on. If you are any kind of filmmaker, get it together and get yourself on Tubi.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, right? I mean, I think, honestly, I love Tubi because I get to see a lot of shit that's, like, you know, I get excited about bad movies, but not just ones that are purposefully bad because they're fun in their own right. Like, but then, like, what is it? What's the name of that channel? Asylum. All those, like, ridiculous, you know, sci-fi nature bullshit movies, but they do a lot of really, really good movies on there that are not intentionally bad. Things like this, where they're oh man, I hate to say it, where they're actually trying to do something that is like, I don't mean these documentaries of these people putting themselves out there. I'm talking films like that just
Yeah, there's
the B movies and C movies that are just shit, but they're funny because of the delivery. Like Tubi's really good for all of that. I love it.
And that's that kind of the fun thing of just digital access being so easy for so many people, and putting together a halfway convincible poster that looks like just another shitty movie that was probably made for way more money, but you can pull that stuff off in Photoshop and look legit and just put out absolute trash. And you can get away with it. It's great. We're going to move on. We've gone a little long with this one, but we got to get to everyone's third favorite segment. Drea, what's that?
Poll results.
This week's poll, what were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? And the choices were solving cases, making up bullshit, trying their best, or cocaine. I'm going to ask you, Drea Mora, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
There was not an all of the above option?
No. Has to be one of those.
Because it really was all of the above. It's making up bullshit and a lot of cocaine.
All right, well, you got to pick one because you're the only one here. You have to pick
cocaine.
One. All right, well, yes, congratulations with 54% of the vote.
Yeah.
Cocaine came in strong.
Baby.
But, of course, there are others. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? They weren't surrounded by swirling cocaine until the 1980s. In the 1970s, they were doing very large, straight-on hard-ons. Okay, thank you so much.
That's cute and naive to think that cocaine just didn't exist in the 70s. That's just when it was the most popular.
A very large, straight-on, hard-on.
That's what he wanted, but yeah, I agree with you. There was definitely a lot of cocaine. What do you think disco was?
Boogie Nights.
Come on, what are you talking
about?
Yeah,
Boogie Nights. Come on.
All right. Well, what were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? They were practicing their spirit photography by taking family pictures. Would you like a photo of your family from the Rebob? Thank you so much, Rebob. And I know what he wants. Here we go.
Would you like a photograph of your family or children?
Thank you so much, the Rebob. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? Reaching into bushes, peeking out from behind bushes. A lot of bushes going around in the 1970s.
Yes.
That was Whooping Hooper. This, okay. Let's see if I can, all right.
Sasquatch peeking out from behind a bush.
Yes, a very 70s bush, evidently. Thank you so much to Whooping Hooper. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? Getting softened, bent over, then hardened up again. Signed, The Damn Creeps. I don't know if I don't know how I'd find that one. I know which one he's talking about. Every time I look it up, it's getting me hard on here. What was that from?
It happens.
What was that from? Yeah, I can't even get softened. It's not happening. I don't know how to find that.
Harden, soften, and harden again. Shit.
Oh.
It was this year, right? It was definitely this year.
I do think so. But I can do this, I think. Oh, no. Is this possible? No, I can't find. I was trying to find The Damn Creeps, too. Sorry, but I love it. Thank you so much, The Damn Creeps. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? My back just felt like it was on fire. Literally like a hot spot right on my back. Like very hot. It felt like somebody took something really hot and put it like right next to my back, and I could feel the heat from it. Long story short, it turned out to be George Norrie's pizza roll. Signed, Ramidus, pushing the limits of poll results. Thank you so much, Ramidus. So much going on there. Oh, my God. Well, I think he wanted a little Norrie. I can give you this.
You'd be the only person in the world who doesn't know that.
All right. Okay, Ramidus. Thank you so much. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? Clack, 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 drum. Brum. Sorry, I didn't hear the question. I was busy connecting the mechanical vibrator to a house. Yes, the mechanical vibrator. Oh, my God. That was...
Damn. That sounded like a motorcycle.
It did. Thank you so much. Golden Rice. Golden Rice. Oh, oh, here we go.
Interview me about Golden Rice.
We still need to get that done. Thank you so much, Golden Rice. Oh, wait. Oh, I messed up. That wasn't Golden Rice. That was researcher connecting a mechanical vibrator to a house. Oh, that's the guy's name. That's his name. So sorry about that.
Oh, getting.
So thank you so much. Sorry, that was spoilers because next is Golden Rice with peeking up from behind a bush with a line of Coke. Maybe you should pick up their brain and read a book. Oh, there you go. Pick up your brain and read a book. I think I can do that. I'm trying to do this Rob style tonight. I didn't get to get these ready. It's hard to get.
No, that's a lot. It's a lot to do all at once.
I know. There's so many of these, and you guys make these great references. I do try
Maybe
to find
you should
them.
Pick up a line and do a line. Pick up some Coke and read a brain.
Or read a bush.
You gotta do something about this. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All
read
right.
a bush.
Yes, agreed.
Known as the Bushman.
The Bushman.
All right on, Bushman. That'll have to work for now. Thank you so much, Golden Rice. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? I was born in the 70s, and my old dad said he conjured me from his dark seed. So I guess that's what paranormal researchers were doing in the 1970s. Signed, Scared of My Dad Guy. Holy shit. All right, we're coming to...
Well, so Scared of My Dad Guy's dad was a paranormal researcher then?
That's another clue. If you put it all together, I guess it's supposed to somehow make sense. Right. We need to put a little compilation together of all the Scared of My Dads. Maybe we'll make a story.
It's starting to come together, much like his dad.
Yeah, not like this supercut where it's just... No, Scared of My Dad Guy gets right to the point. Thank you, Scared of My Dad Guy. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? Acid from Mothman's mother. Okay. It wasn't an option, and that's all you want. That's pretty good. That is...
Well, that's why it's an other, Russell.
I know, and it's perfect. Thank you so much, Mothman Mother. What were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? The last picture I took was completely bleached out. That picture was of my butthole. Signed, Boner Yogair. That's pretty good. That was a lot of bleached out pictures, and that was a great admission that you gave us. This was what, 3:30 and the 90 put this? This sounds like a real admission.
When you bleach your butthole, you're not going to not, brag about it.
Yeah, why not get a bunch of paranormal investigators, 25 of them in your little shanty house? Take pictures of it. Very good, Boner Yogair. That's what they were getting up to. I think this answers the question. It probably does
I got a shot for you.
I don't think it does, but good job, Boner Yogair, for entertaining us. And finally, for this evening, what were paranormal researchers doing in the 1970s? They were trying to figure out the connection between angry, aggressive ghosts and period clothes. Signed, Unbelievable Penguin. Wow, I like that one a lot because there were a lot of angry ghosts in there. We always are worried about period clothes. The 70s are period. Definitely a lot of period when you're talking about the 70s. So I'll ask you, wow.
Yeah, they had to use safety pins to pin their freaking maxi pads to the underwear because they didn't have adhesives yet, self-adhesive shit.
Yeah, it was weird back then.
Or tampons.
Very strange back then. Very spooky down there.
I think they had tampons.
And you weren't peeking out from...
Spooky down there in them bushes, boy.
Yes, watch this. The bush has become a new theme. Forget, bulls are out, bushes are in. Coming in year 6. That's where we're going with this.
Bushes out. Bulls in, bushes
Bulls out,
right?
bush in. We've done it. And I'll go over. I liked a lot of these tonight. The damn creeps kind of got me with getting soft and bent over and hardened up again. That's what they're doing in the 1970s. Very good.
Man, I almost remembered for a second. Fuck, what is that from?
We also had, they were practicing the spirit photography by taking family pictures. Would you like a photo of your family? That was the Rebob. We had Corrupted Mask with, they weren't surrounded by swirling cocaine until the 80s, not the 70s. They were doing very large straight on bong rips in the 70s. We also had my back just felt like it was on fire, literally like a hot spot right in my back. Romanus went on and on to make a George Nori joke. Very good. I also really liked clack, 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 drum. Vrr. Sorry, I didn't hear the question. I was busy connecting the mechanical vibrator to a house. That was researcher connecting a mechanical vibrator to a house.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Very good. We also had, Scared of My Dad Guy really stuck out this time. I don't know. He's always in there, but I was born in the 70s. My old dad said he conjured me from his dark seed. So and it actually answered the question as well. I like that one a lot. Do you have any ones or not even honorable mentions? What did you like, Drea?
I liked Mothman Mothers because it was direct and did answer the question. It just said straight up acid.
Yes, it's very good.
I love succinct and concise and good and true and funny. But I mean, I really also did like, researcher connecting the vibrator to the whatever, to the house. Because it didn't answer it, but it acknowledged it. I thought it was a creative answer.
Well, they didn't hear the question because that's who they were. Yeah, and then we also had
right, but I like that response.
Okay, all right, and this is a new bit, and it's.
I'm just saying it doesn't have to
I
be
do. No, I do. I like it. I'll give if Cowboy H Bub can do honorable mentions to Bigfoot and Mothman for not making his list. I'll give honorable mention to Bono Yorgera. The last picture I took was completely bleached out. The picture was my butthole, and also Unbelievable Penguin. They were trying to figure out the connection between angry, aggressive ghosts and period clothes. You make the honorable. You are the Bigfoot and Mothman of this list. But congratulations to researcher connecting a mechanical vibrator to a house with clack, 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 drum, vroom. Sorry, I didn't hear the question. I was busy connecting the mechanical vibrator to a house. You just won this week's poll results. All right, we've come to the end of the program. Before we go, Drea, Mora, you have anything you want to say?
I just want to say that you should definitely go to Kentucky. And here's what I want to say. Dox this guy only because I want to know his address, because he said if we're in the hills of Kentucky to come on through and have us a plate. And I don't know where to go to get that plate.
Yeah. What was on that plate again? I think it was...
the Bonesboro octopus.
Yeah, we were promised a little fried octopus, weren't we? And when you go get that...
hungry.
I know, me too. And I'll just... the only thing I have to say, I don't know, go check out my buddies at Silk City Hot Sauce. Get that psychic Bigfoot hot sauce. It goes great with the octopus. And that's it. The Unbelievers Podcast hosts today were Drea Mora and me, Russ Ryan. Our editor is Issa YZ. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/Unbelievers Podcast for bonus episodes and so much more. You can follow the show on Twitter at Unbelievers Pod and Instagram, Unbelievers Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. Our music advisor is Pandora3373. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Ron, a.k.a. Aaron Chilb. Follow him on Instagram at the Aaron Chilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker designed our logos, Raymond Roll. Check out his work at Harley Warren Art on Twitter and HarleyWarren.com on the internet. Our official Guardian of the Banks is Kraken Slacker. Our official Alien Bumper is Nunchuck Bob. And from Patreon, our official Reptilian at the Post Office is Postal Patty. Our official Extraterrestrial Woman still waiting for hashtag rubbing heads or trend Crescent Moon. Official Reverend Doctor of the Podcast is the Non-Newtonian Druid. Our official Big Island Friendly Paranormal Weatherman is Green Finhawk. Our official Procrastinator is Jeffrey Hartner Riff. Our official Baby Yoda Publicist is Pam Z. Our official Unbeliever listening between the stations for a message from Art Bell, Scott E. Our official Unbelievers Raising Puckwudgies is Joe Filler. Our official Madman is Unbeliever Adam. Our official Unbelievers Time Travel is Taylor Nelson. Our official Ghost Hunter is Amelia Childs. Ghost Hunting in New England. And Hubie Halloween. We hardly knew ye. We'll see.
Hubie Halloween.
We'll see you again next year. Our official Senior European Correspondent is Kay Mill of the I Don't Know Podcast. Our official Paranormal Art Curator is Isis Haynes. Our official Rod is Rod Beglio. Our official Unbelievers in need of title are Mike Henry, Todd X, Liz Vicious, Sandra Double Foles, Ramiro, Trash Baby, Adam Dvorak, Retro Josh. And this week's Unbeliever Focus is Pam Z, who is celebrating her birthday week, month, weekend, whatever right now. Have fun, but be careful out there. This goes for all of you as well, and be safe. I haven't reminded people about being safe in a while. I say that as someone with experience because...
if you're like me, you've been probed by aliens before.
Okay, good night.
See y'all, lickety-split.
Please don't turn the lights off, oh no. That's when the monster comes. Yeah, that's when the monster comes. Yeah, that's when the monster comes. Ain't no time to run when the monster comes. Please don't turn the lights off, lights off. Please don't turn the lights off, oh no. Please don't turn the lights off, lights off. Cause that's when the monster comes.
When the monster comes, everybody dies. When the monster comes, ain't nowhere to hide. When the monster comes, everybody cries. When the monster comes, everybody run.
Discontinue! Discontinue!